bring the meeting to order. Can I get, actually, we need to amend the agenda before we adopt it.
Yes, Madam Chair, and I'll give you a brief explanation. On Sunday, I received an email, Sunday, June 11th, from the applicant for the item A under 5 new business, which is Marcia's Light Special Use Permit Amendment Application, and I will read that email so it's a part of the record. The email came from Sumit Gupta. It says, Melissa, I saw your comments and trying to understand it all. I think it's best for us to pull this application as currently it will create a lot of confusion. Better for us to resubmit this and have time to work through all of these with 1 to 2 meetings with you and town staff. So please accept this email as a formal withdrawal of our application for now, and we will submit an updated one this week for the July Planning Board meeting. And after this next submittal, we would like to meet with you and your staff to discuss each of your comments. I thought we had answered everything, but there still seems to be many open items. I think we can address every item prior to the next Planning Board meeting. Thank you, Sumit.
Okay.
So we will need to have a motion to adopt an amended agenda removing
item A.
item 5A from the agenda.
I will move that we adopt an amendment to the agenda to remove item 5A.
No second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries. Next, I need a motion to approve the minutes from the May 10th, 2022 meeting.
I have a correction in the minutes. Page 4, the 7th line down, there's a typo. It says complied, and the word should be compiled.
Oh, that's a tremendous difference. Thank you. All right.
The I and the L need to be switched.
Can I get a motion to approve the amended minutes from May 10th, 2022?
I make a motion that we approve the amended minutes.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Next, we have public comment. Members of the public are invited to address the planning board. Public comment is not intended to require the board to answer any impromptu questions or to take any action on items brought up during the public comment period. Speakers will address all comments to the board as a whole and not to one individual member. Discussions between speakers and members of the audience will not be allowed. Time limits are 3 minutes per person or 5 minutes per group. Please identify yourself so that your statement can be recorded. Do we have someone who would like to speak? Please.
Hi, I'm Phil Hasseltine. My partner Valerie and Morgan and I live at 100 Uppawak, right at the corner of Uppawak and Fernando. My comments were planned to address the proposed changes in Marcia's Light. However, since they don't directly impact the formal part of the plan, if you'll indulge me a minute or two. When we bought our house in 2005, Uppawak was a one-way street. Since that time, we have a dead-end street, excuse me. Since that time, of course, we have Marcia's Light and our new neighbors over there, and we enjoy that muchly. We have a new skateboard park, and now we have the great new COA, which also exits its parking lots on the combination of Uppawak and Fernando. Living at that corner, we've seen through all of this progress, great increase in traffic volume, to say the least, during this time. And we watch daily from our sunroom traffic conflicts between the growing number of the bicyclists, the skateboarders, the scooter riders, and the motorists driving in on Fernando one way, occasionally obeying the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit. But the point is that the traffic conflicts and potential conflicts at that intersection have become increasingly great over time. We have had at least one injury, personal injury accident, crash at that intersection in the last, in the last year. To us, it's time, and frankly, we're not all that concerned about the number of additional condos that may or may not be constructed in Marsh's Light. But what additional condos and changing that site plan means is additional vehicle traffic, additional cars being parked there. And at some point in time, as we look at the needed utilities and infrastructure changes that go with that growth, we need also to look at our roadways. And we have, frankly, an unsafe intersection with a two-way stop. And while I know this planning committee can't, as a part of the site plan approval, take formal action to make a roadway improvement, you can certainly use your influence to help us make progress in that regard. Our options are limited. You certainly can't put a roundabout there. A traffic light would seem to be not appropriate. But adding a stop sign going eastbound on one way on Fernando would do a great deal to reduce speed going into downtown Manteo. It would make it a lot safer for the kids heading to the skateboard park, some of whom check for traffic and a lot of whom do not, and help avoid a future serious problem, personal injury crash involving one of our youth. So I would strongly encourage you, when you get to the point of approving this, to somehow use your influence to encourage the powers that be. And I know this is a state road. You know, they're going to conduct a traffic survey saying there aren't enough cars to justify it. They don't do traffic surveys of kids on bicycles going by. So we merely ask that you use your influence within the community as a planning board to do what you can to help us improve the safety of an intersection. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, do we have another speaker?
No, I'm 5B. Okay.
Oh, you're 5B, okay.
You can, so they get 5 minutes, yeah.
I am Paul Fleming, which has a condo in the building.
It's,
I also-
if, before you speak, if you could make an effort to get closer to the microphone, that would
Sure.
be
Sure.
great for all of us. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And please state your name and your address.
All right. I'm Twaff Inc., 221 Meadow Lane, Franklin, Virginia. I have a condo at 102C Dartmoor. I also am Lucy Properties Inc. at 221 Meadow Lane, Franklin, Virginia. And it owns slip number 7 in the marina. My name is Bob Trainer. I'm better known as the pest to that lovely lady right there. But our problem is this. Saga is a moving target. You all know that better than we. But we are being held captive. Our problem is the trees in and around the canal. If the roots hit that seawall, we all got some real problems on the money side. You guys, with the easement, Saga, and us as homeowners. The second problem we have is they just did the trees, they pruned them. Well, they pruned them sideways, and all the trees now are growing up. The people on our second floor cannot see the water. There's a financial penalty to that if they decide to sell. And we need somebody, this committee, to tell us how to proceed without Saga. That's a very simple thing. If you want to take on this liability of the seawall, that's up to you. We don't want to, and the people on the second floor are losing money if they decide to sell. And Saga, as you guys know better than we, is a moving target that we can't touch. Although I have been a pain in the ass to that, a real pain to Bob Hauser and Supra. And that's why they got this on there with a site plan now. Leave it on to the president here.
Scott Hill, I'm on the board of directors. Susan is here on the board of directors also.
I have
The,
I have to get you
it's by the
closer to the,
microphone.
it's mainly for the recording, too. We can hear
Okay.
sort of.
The submission to have 6 trees cut down was put in as part of the site plan submission. Our request is to have it separated somehow from the site plan submission. You know, with the attorneys, we're hoping this can be done one way, shape, or form, hopefully with negotiations with Saga and the town. This problem with the trees has been going on since 2013, and we've been going back and forth on the whole issue for years, and we'd just like to get it resolved.
I'm Susan E. Hart, and I live at 200A Dartmoor. Like he said, we've been working really hard for a long time to get approval from the master to even remove trees. We finally have their agreement to take the trees down. Now we need your approval, but they rolled us in with all their other stuff, so we can't do anything. And in the meantime, the trees just keep growing bigger and bigger. They're a threat to our infrastructure, our driveways, our foundation, banging the buildings when they get big, not to mention the property values, because you can't sell a sound front condo when you can't see the water. So we're just asking for some relief. If we can somehow separate ourselves, even though they own the land, if we can have it looked at separately. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? Okay. We're going to move on to new business then. We are looking at a site plan review for fill placement at 513 Barlow Street. And Melissa, can you share staff comments, please?
Sure.
Or,
So the applicants are here this evening. I just need to get to the right staff report here. So this home at 513 Barlow Street has been under construction for some time. When the property owners purchased the lot, on the back corner of the lot, there was a depression in the property. You'll see on the survey for their construction that it is noted as a water hole, which is the first time I've seen a survey that has a water hole on it.
Yes.
I will note that there is a ditch on the property as well. The owners, Mr. Barber, reached out to me and asked about what he needed to do to fill that hole in his backyard. And since it does require more than a foot of fill being placed on the property, that then becomes before you all for approval. They are actually in that area adding a number of feet of fill. The low section is 4 feet, and they are going to bring it up to, the ground elevation is 7 feet, so they're going to make it even with the ground, I think. So they have an engineer's plan for the fill, and so we can see in that depression where it is. And then I also included in the staff report an email from the Army Corps of Engineers, Billy Standridge, who is our local field rep, to Mr. Barber, stating that he did not find any jurisdictional species in that area. You know, I wanted to confirm that there were no wetlands there, as we have those kind of pop up in different places on the island. So I don't see any issues with this. They are not proposing to put any fill in the ditch. Of course, we don't allow ditches to be filled, but that's not the area where they plan to be placing the fill anyway.
Yeah, I got a comment.
discussion?
Yeah. I looked at that extensively yesterday, and that hole holds a considerable amount of runoff right now. the ditch has a lot of debris in it, so I don't see any problem with filling that in, but that ditch definitely needs to be cleaned out first, because otherwise, that water's just gonna be going all over the place instead of down the ditch, because right now, the ditch elevation is considerably higher than, that depression.
Yeah.
And it's
I-
got stumps in it and,
It's
tree limbs and
the bottom of the ditch looks like it's 5.5, and so